Hello there, everyone! Alexman here, and welcome back to another session of the Legend of Zelda, I Say to the Past. Last time, well, we got the Master Sword, we got the last pendant from the Tower of Hera, and unfortunately, the Dark World Agnem itself basically got us there. Zelda is now in Dungeon 7 of Turtle Rock, and we have to deal with the Dark World itself, and we also rescued 2 maidens. Well, at the same time, we have ourselves a powered-up sword as well. So that's it. Let's go. We completed Dungeon 1 and 4 last time. So now it's time to go into what we can do next. Because now, we need to go to the Dark World again, but we can't get there from that portal. So we're going to have to find another portal, which is most likely in Thieves Town, in order to actually get back into the Dark World, because that's our closest spot. So let's get that, shall we? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and night as we continue on with more adventuring. So what do we have to do next? Well, we have 2 dungeons ahead of us that we have to take care of, which are dungeons 2 and 3. I know, it's odd that we took care of dungeon 1 and 4 without taking 2 and 3 done, but again, dungeon 4 is technically required to get other upgrades, so by technicality, and since it's open world nature, we took care of it. And then almost every playthrough I do this game, folks, I go after Dungeon 4 immediately after Dungeon 1. Just because it's just easier for me, because Dungeon 4 was so small in comparison. We also got the deduction of another item. We got ourselves the Ether, Quake, and Bombos medallions. We also got a flute, which can allow us to teleport, or at least fast travel in the overworld of the light world. And we got the mirror and magic cape. Now, the magic cape allows us to go invisible for a pretty good reason. We want to go invisible because that can actually get us to barriers that actually could prevent us from going anywhere. So, that could be useful in certain circumstances. We've got not most of everything in the overworld, or at least the Dark World, just yet. There's still the supposed death mount of the Dark World is going to be the last place we're going to find like almost all of the collectibles. There's also a minigame we haven't gotten to yet, which has a lot of money grabbing for us. It does have a piece of heart for us too, there in the Fees of Town. But we want to come here. There's a piece of heart up there on that rock face. It is accessed by here. We have that cursed hard hats. I know what these guys are, hard shells these times over. But you have these bouncy things. We're going to get noticed these in probably Dungeon 3. So be wary of that. These little bouncers, I want to call them, have... Oh, we can't even get access to us yet. Okay, well, definitely, we can't get access to it yet. Okay, never mind. We'll have to get to that heart piece later. We do need an item that's indeed in Dungeon 2. So I guess we'll head over to Dungeon 2, get that item, and then we can actually get that heart piece in retrospect. Yeah, we'll get Dungeon 2's item. Will you leave me alone? Thank you. Might as well go into the overworld. That might be less dangerous. Because I can also fast travel in that way too, to the potion place. Potion place! Come hither! Go back to level 2. And now I can get myself a free heal. As long as we got some money, we might as well get some potions along the way too. Thank you. Give me that tasty sample. Let's see. Do I have left in pots? I have 2 fairies, but I don't have any health potions or magic. Well, why not both? Get the blue potion here. This will recover both magic and health. So if you want to use that, perfectly good. And we'll keep it that way. Maybe we'll get a 3rd fairy along the way. We want to now go to Dungeon 2. We're going to go to Dungeon 2 right now because in order basically to get access to more stuff, we're going to need that item from Dungeon 2. Now, we're going to go to level down here, Warp 7. Now, Warp 7, now Dungeon 2 is this place. We were in here earlier. But if we go in there in the Dark World, we can't access the dungeon. So we're going to have to do some way in the Light World to reflect it. This is one of the rare puzzles that the game contains where you need to do something in the overworld that will affect it in the Dark World. And likely is that if we go into the Dark World from here, then obviously we can get... I think I have to do this right. If it doesn't stay like this after I get back to the Dark World, we'll have to redo it again. So, in the Dark World we must. Luckily, there's a Dark World portal up here to the north. So we'll have to get there as well. If I have to redo that thing, then so be it. But, there we go. Get our hammer, which we got in the Dungeon of Darkness. Hit you down. There we go. Hit this bad boy. Let's go to the Dark World. Just running all over the world today, I guess. Hit this bad boy down. These things are always in my way. Always in my way. And I think by we're into the Dark World, I don't think does the puddle reset? Yes, the puddle does indeed reset. Okay. Yeah, because you have to get to the Dark World this way. All right, here we go. Magic mirror time. Let's redo that puzzle once again. And then we can get to the Dark World proper. Because you have to be on the same screen as the time you actually do this. So let's pull this lever again. Now we had to do this earlier to get a piece of heart. So I guess that could sort of remind you that, hey, you know, there might be something there. And again, I really wish it was somehow what was beyond that screen. Because you never get to see beyond there unless you clip out of bounds. I've never seen what's beyond that waterway. But let's go back to the Dark World. And as we see that the water's also been drained here too. This is the Water Palace, or the Swamp Palace. I wouldn't say it wouldn't be the Swamp Palace, because this is the thing here. We come back here, it says, I say, as I sha-la-la-la-la, objects exist simultaneously in both worlds with similar shapes. If the form of a thing changes, it will affect the shape of its twin in the other world. See, that's what that gives you that hint, because if you go in here initially, you see this stairway well, as well as this water that's not filled up. But now it is, we can now continue on into this dungeon proper. Yeah, I think this is the Swamp Palace, I think they call this one. But this thing has a lot of water in it, and it's actually... I don't think it's not that big either. I don't think it's that long. It is a little deep, but I wouldn't say it wouldn't be hard by any means. You just gotta watch out for enemies left and right that are gonna cause a bit of an issue. Especially these guys that come out of the water and basically only stay in water. But thanks to our magic shield, we should be able to block any energy projectiles that come near us. Oh, and get used to Link's green tunic, though, because Green's tunic is, you know, is the basic tunic, but we're not going to be able to get anything upgrades to that until Dungeon 5. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. So you have to go through a lot of these dungeons. And again, in order to access Dungeon 5... Oh, I just went backwards. Didn't think I could do that. Alright, whatever. And here, we got to watch out for these little tower things here that throw energies at you. Yeah, get out of here. We also have these water skippers. Got to watch out for them. We also get introduction to this cannon. This cannon is a little weird. This little thing you see down here on the bottom left. Or the middle here. You might think it's shooting out a projectile at you. It only shoots a projectile once you swing your sword and nothing more. So it's more of a passive enemy that only triggers when you do. I wish there was more enemies like that, because it doesn't seem like it doesn't happen all that often. Like, that's the only enemy that actually reacts that way. You think it would. Well, technically the Stalfos acts that way too. It retaliates if you attack it, but still. You know, usually you can kill them before you actually get hold of them. We got these Dark World enemies, these things that blocked our path before, meaning that, again, if you glitched your way out of bounds and got into this dungeon without going through Dungeon 1, you couldn't do anything, so. We're getting an introduction to a sort of a gimmick that these dungeons are going to attain for, and that is you're going to have to complete a set of tasks before you can continue on to another dungeon room. It's going to get, it's not really a pain in this game usually, but later on in the later Zelda games that you would have to complete set of tasks before an opening would happen for you. So this is technically the game that introduced. Okay, to be fair, this game introduced a lot of standards that every Zelda game will follow. Like, to be perfectly honest, if you compare this to, I say, well, there's that debate with saying what's better, A Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time, and you might say, well, A Link to the Past set the standard to what Ocarina of Time happened. And essentially, I would have to say that, for technicality, Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past are kind of technically the same game, I want to say. Where it's like, you have to collect 3 MacGuffins, grab the Master Sword, and then you have to survive the Dark World or future, with basically rescuing maiden / sages. So, not sure, again, it's like, again, they're both technically different plots, but at the same time, I want to say that they basically have the same exact plot. You know, Ganondorf just needs to be defeated in a different way. And that's basically the gist of it too. Some might complain about that, and there's been a lot of debate over online for years saying what is technically the better game. I would say they're both basically on the same. They're both on the same level of good. But you know, you can't really you can't have a cop-out answer. So, ooh, that there. Whew. Alright, we get. Well, I can't push the way now. Can I? No, I can't. I can't go that way. I thought I. Oh, that's right. We have to go back up. There's a way up the other way. That's where we gotta go to. All right. Because we can't put those blocks. They are immovable. It means we need to raise the water level again. Ooh! These water skippers and these fish coming out of the... I guess you want to call them fish or amphibians coming out of the walls. And I think this is like the only dungeon that actually does this too, where there's enemies that come out of the walls. Now you might complain about, well, that's what Dungeon 5 does with the Icemen that come out of there. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But the Icemen come out their own way, not like the way that this dungeon does. Which in itself is that this enemies just pop out of the water. I wanted to say I need to have that back up, so I need to hit this back. Pop back you. Switch your this back, I think. Yes, I'm going to have that back. There is a key or a chest you have to collect, and it's locked behind, I think, behind one of those pillars, one of those red and blue pillars. So you have to lower that down. I think it's a red pillar that'll block you, so I guess you have to keep the blue ones up for the time being. This dungeon's, honestly, it's kind of linear because you just basically go constantly left, and then you just have to go back right, and then you go north to finish the dungeon. It's not as big. I wouldn't say it's not as big as Dungeon 1, but it's bigger than Dungeon 4 by a long shot. And that's like, I know, there's no problem. There's not really a problem with having a dungeon that's really, really short. No. I have no problem with that. As long as the dungeon conveys what it's trying to do in a particular story sequence, then yes, let it do its thing. Alright, we come up this way. Okay, first of all, the concept of having a towering dungeon that's like, what, 100 floors and whatnot, that's not a dungeon anymore. That's like a fortress. We want to pop up this way. Come on. I want to push that way, or do you push it down? There we go. Push it down. Put it over here to the left. We land here. You get money. Yes, we're good. I set that up rightly. I saw the pillars on the left be red. They're down, so that's a good sign. Now we can get our... That's where the master key is, so we can go get that too. Huzzah! Probably after this dungeon we'll expand our inventory again of bombs and arrows because we have so much money to use. But there is that piece of heart I need to get from the Thieves' Town. And well, that's actually a good way to go over there because that's where we get to Dungeon 3. Get some money. We're already at over 839 rupees. There's our master key. Booyah! Alright, so this... okay, let's go. Now, this is technically like... This item we're going to get in the dungeon is technically one of my more favorite items to use. Because it theoretically just removes the abilities of the boomerang. And that would be something I would think that's a problem in the Zelda series, that there's so many items in the lore of the game that kind of technically replace older items. Like, we've used the boomerang for a while, but now we're going to get replaced with this. Boing! It is a hook shot. It extends and contracts. Boing! It can grapple many things. Yeah, the hook shot. The first time introduction to this weapon. Allows us to cross certain gaps. And we get a key right there as it needs to be. And effectively, this thing replaces the boomerang. Because it can stun enemies as well. So, yeah. So, well, the magic boomerang was great for early game. Also, the fact that this thing can destroy these little jellyfish enemies earlier. Just because, well, it can actually harm them and kill them without being affected by electricity. Despite this thing clearly being of metal design. I want to say we need to come over this way first? No. We need to head up north the other way. Because we have to get rid of the water from below in order to get those chests. Hey, you responded. I don't like you. There we go. Yeah, see? Take those guys out with no problem now. Those things are not going to be an issue for us from here on out. Because this hook shot is so useful. Let's go this way. Yes, this is the way of going here. There we go. Take care of the Stalfos. Hey. Yeah, I hear you. The only problem with the hook shot, though, is that it does clip onto walls, and if it hits an item that's just around it, it will basically say, hey, you can't go any further than that, which is kind of a detriment to its own thing here. Is this the way I wanted to go to? It is technically the way I have to go, but I need to hit that switch, which is on the opposite side. And again, this is like the puzzle element of this dungeon, is that finding the right door. Because there's not really a lot of keys in this place. Not sure if that door is like a trap. I want to imagine that this opening here is technically a trap, because we saw a door close on the opposite side we didn't see. But this switch opens up both of them. So push up this way, and now we can hit back this way. And now this door is open. Ow! Well, if I got burned, at least I can jump in the water and cool myself off. Booyah! Hook you to bits! Yeah, see, that thing's on the wall, so you can't hit it. But the sword can, though. I'll take my full capacity of arrows, thank you. Yeah, here we go. This is where we need to go to. Hit this one, and booyah! I love it how the drain just appears out of nowhere. It's kind of weird that all these dungeons are some sort of, like... I would say the dungeons are pretty easy, except for maybe Dungeon 1, because it's, you know, the first dark dungeon of the game. Let's see, what's down here? Oh yeah, the chests down here. I need to get those. Booyah! Saw a couple of chests down here. Got pieces of heart, thank you. Money that we clearly, you know, have abundance of. Man, this would make Tingle happy, wouldn't he? He's like, man, there's so many rupees here. And for the record, I've never played any of the Tingle games. And I never tend to. Let's see, I want to say the way forward is in this room. It's that it's behind a waterfall. Don't remember what's beyond here. Ooh, there we go. Ow! Hey! You fishes. Yeah. Give me my overabundance of bombs and money and everything. And die. And they ultimately respawn. That's interesting. Ow! Hey! We got this one. There we go. There's a way forward. Take care of you. Give me my magic. Yeah, we're basically about the end point of the dungeon. We're basically like on the last portion and the last room of the place. Ooh, take care of you. Oh, hey. And also these weird slime things coming out of the ground, which the hookshot makes quick work of them. Alright, this little room. I'm gonna use this. Burn these guys. Maybe overkill, but still. I'd rather have a clear waterway. We come up here. I want to say there's a health up here or a key. If I could just get up there, have to fight this current. There we go. Yeah, it's a key. Not bad. Yeah, we're actually right at the boss here. Gonna hit our bomb here. There's a bombable wall full of goodies for us. Whoop, took that away. That slime had no chance. Now, this boss is actually going to be like a jellyfish type enemy. I don't remember the enemy's name. Obviously, I'm going to have a name on screen. But, you know, as usual. Alright, take you down. I don't want to get hit by you as you getting up on me here. Overkill? Yes, but it does a trick. Oop, go this way. And let's go for the boss. It's a jellyfish. Alright, this, I think this guy is the same as a rock enemy that was in Four Swords Adventures, I want to say. As technically, the concept of that boss is technically the same as this one. But this guy, this jellyfish eye monster, has these little puffballs around him that, you can't, you have to, pull off with using the hook shot. But be careful, these things could technically harm you if they come right next to you. So, as soon as you get right next to them, beam, bada, boom, take them out and do it. Take them out, take them out. But you have to be in the right position to hit them. So you can't just, like, you know, hit the boss and they'll automatically grab these things. You have to be in the vicinity of the little puff ball in order to grab it. So, there we go. Ooh. There we go. If you don't get in time, it will retract back to the enemy. Now it's actually going to jump down on the ground and actually hurt you. This actually becomes easier, though. And thanks to our more powerful sword, we should be able to be fine on this. Oh. Got nicked. Luckily, have a fairy. Which, again, fairies do not add to the death count of your character. Unless you see the game over wording. Game overs have not affected in this file yet. And look at that. About 3 hits of that thing with the powered up master sword, at least the level 3 sword, made quick work of the guy. And we got ourselves maiden number 2. Well, technically it's maiden 3, but, you know, details, details. Still impressive graphic regardless. I say, because of you, I can escape from the clutches of the evil monsters, thank you. The Triforce will grant the wishes of whoever touches it, as long as that person lives. That is why it's hidden in the Golden Land. Only a select few knew of its location. Well, apparently Ganondorf knew it. But at some point, that knowledge was lost. The person who rediscovered the Golden Land was Ganondorf, the evil thief. Luckily, he couldn't figure out how to return to the Light World. Well, remember that you have magical powers which only the hero can make most of. There are some other magical warping points that the one you saw in Death Mountain. By using them, you can go between the two worlds and find the evils hidden in the Dark World. You are the only one who can destroy Ganondorf, the evil thief. No! Ganon, the evil king of darkness. So many titles this guy has. Do you never understand? Yes, please. In the way the hero, lead the Triforce. Alright, let's get out of here.